Tonight's success stories for any small business, women-owned businesses included, are often years in the making. Tonight, we'll take a look at two women whose businesses have evolved from their homes to firms with nationwide distributions. Housewife turned baker, rocket small firm into big time. Catherine Clark made headlines, posed as a one-woman show, armed with a briefcase and a loaf of brownberry bread. The hobby of baking bread started here in Oconomowoc more than 40 years ago. Catherine Clark had raised two daughters, worked in the personnel office of a department store. And then in 1946, she decided to bake bread for a profit. In her first year, she made $86. Years and millions of dollars later, the Brownberry ovens employ 350 people. And women launching hobbies into businesses are less likely to make headlines. Clary Sattel thinks that's just fine, though her firm seems ready to take off.
I was 8 months pregnant and was bored to tears. I had quit my job and decided to make some crafts for my child, and I had everybody that saw them liked them so much and said, "You really should try and sell these things." And I sat on them for a long time, trying to get up the nerve to try it, and took them to a store, and they were very well received.
That was just over 3 years ago. Her first year's profits, not a far cry from $86. Last year, closer to the average net income of businesses owned by women, around $6,500.
It wasn't until 2 months ago that I made an enormous jump, which was also very difficult, because there is a very fine line between having a small cottage industry and having a business. And I wasn't sure that I wanted to be a businesswoman. I enjoyed the actual work and the sewing, and I knew that part of that would be taken away from me.
Surprise orders have forced Clary to steal toys from a toddler, but she can stay home with her son Benjamin. Growth of her business has meant piecework for 6 other seamstresses.
It does take drive and energy that most people don't have, that they are very content to stay at home. The women that work for me are either older people who are unemployed, they're grandmothers, they are young housewives with children who really want nothing more than to be in their homes and sewing.
That's what you wanted, wasn't it, right when you got started?
Yes, yes.
So what's the difference?
The fact that I was very lucky that my product sold so well to begin with, that I had something I knew I could go with. And you get a little taste of success, and it makes you push.
Clary says she started her business totally ignorant of its potential. At times, she's wanted out. Her thoughts devoting all of her time to her household, husband, and child. Or perhaps getting a 9-to-5 job using her master's degree in library science.
Last November, I had decided that maybe this just wasn't for me, that I couldn't. I think I'm a compulsive worker, and that for my own well-being, that I should go back to working out of my home. And I did seek employment elsewhere, and I was offered a good job. And I came home and I stewed about it for several weeks and decided that, no, that I really didn't want to, that I really love working out of my house.
People might look at you and think that you're going to be the next Catherine Clark of Wisconsin.
2 years ago, I had a friend who said to me, "You're going to be the next Catherine Clark of Wisconsin." And I laughed and I thought, oh, that would be wonderful, but there's no way in the world. And at that time, I really had no idea that I would be pursuing this as far as I have. And yeah, I would love to be the next Catherine Clark of Wisconsin.
Indeed.
Now, Jerry, the Catherine Clark of Wisconsin now lives in California, and Brownberry Ovens is owned by Oro Wheat. Tomorrow, we're going to take a look at some women who paid their dues and did that before becoming their own bosses.
Okay, thanks, Kathy. Yeah.
Miller Beer called...
And then go back and drop it off.